What if Arsenal could spend money without breaking the bank on a central midfielder who is only 23 years of age? Step forward, the young Frenchman Thuram. Now he's currently at Nice. Some of you might be thinking, Thuram, I've heard that name before. We all remember his legendary father, Lilian Thuram. He's obviously got a brother, Marcus Thuram, over at Inter Milan. But the younger Khéphren Thuram, formerly of Monaco, currently playing for Nice. I say currently, it seems like his contract is running down and he could depart. Is a quality player in his own right. If you haven't seen the Nice central midfielder before, he's a right-footed central midfielder who can operate in a deeper, more defensive role, but is equally at home in the number 8. He can operate in a trio, he can operate in a pivot. And I think he's got everything the modern day midfielder requires to have. He's multifunctional, as discussed. He can operate as a box-to-box midfielder or as a kind of number 6. He's got incredible physical quality, standing at 6'4". He's incredibly intelligent. He's a strong ball carrier as well as a dribbler. He's got above average vision, and I think he's got moderate playmaking skills. He can improve on the tackling front, but he's fairly tenacious and proactive in that regards. He's able to operate on the half turn and in the half spaces, and again, he's got excellent technical qualities. As you would imagine, if your dad is Lilian Thuram, you can't be no idiot footballer. He's incredibly intelligent. He's got a high work rate. I believe he's got the technical and physical qualities to thrive in the Premier League or at any of the teams he's been linked with, some including abroad in Juventus and even Paris Saint-Germain in his homeland. And actually, he's been linked with Barcelona. At 23 years of age, it does feel like he's been around for a while. When you look at him, his short time spent at Monaco in relation to their first team, as well as his current employers Nice, he's got 170 odd appearances between the such people, 141 of those in Liga, in the top division in France. So he's got a considerable amount of experience that can be transferred in the Premier League, if I'm honest with you. I think he's quite good in this, in central midfield. He can carry the ball. He plays with a guy who plays with his head up. He's got excellent qualities on the ball, off the ball. He's got a good work rate. There's a lot to like about him. And when you consider allegedly his contract is running down and he's available for as little as 15 million euros, could this be a cut price option for Arsenal to sign, which doesn't break the bank? Where you look at some of the people he's been linked with Zubamendi, whose release clause is allegedly 60 odd million. I don't think Arsenal are going to sign Bruno Guimaraes, but he is linked with 100 million quid. And there's plenty of other ones. The only one that seems affordable is probably Youssouf Fofana of Monaco, another Frenchman. Check out that video, who I'd love at the football club. He's currently got one French cap to his name, and you would imagine he adds to that before his career is done. As I've stated a couple of times, apparently he could be available for a cut price fee, reportedly of 15 million, owing to his contract expiring in 2025. You cannot rule out him staying at Nice and running down his contract and departing as a free agent, but you would imagine he would be on the move this summer. He was expected to depart Nice last summer and was actually aggressively linked with Liverpool. For whatever reason, that didn't happen. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say he's been amazing this season. But trials and tribulations make us in life, people, man or woman, no matter how old or young you are. It's been a testing season for him. He's had knee injuries. He's had thigh problems. He's probably been disillusioned with rumors off the field of departing. So his head might have not potentially been there really and truly. And I do think he's becoming a bit more calculated and cerebral in his footballing qualities. But I do think this season he failed to really play with that swagger he's known for. His progressive carries are down significantly this season, people. At a point, they were at 63 compared to last year, which was at 92, as well as his progressive passes, which was at 92 this season compared to 128 last season. Now, some of that could be due to injuries and different factors collectively that are out of his control, people. Despite being right-footed, people, he's played a large part of his first-team career today in the number 8 role on the left-hand side of midfield or in the left channel. Now, is that not an area that we have failed to fill the void left with Granit Xhaka? He does play with his head up. He does want to receive the ball and turn and dribble forward and drive with the ball deep into the middle and final third, and either look to provoke goal scoring opportunities or pass the ball to his more technical quality teammates. In Arsenal's case, he'll drive with the ball in midfield and look to find the Sakas, the Martinellis, the Trossards, the Jesuses, the Havertz, the Odegaards, and whatever have you. I think he's very good at changing direction. Again, you have to, it sounds silly, but considering the fact he's 6 foot odd, squad. You would think he's a 5'2" Spanish central midfielder. He's very cultured on the ball, and it's a scary sight when dribbling. Now, I am not comparing him to Paul Pogba, to Yaya Toure, to Musa Dembele, to Abu Diaby, but there's shades of elements of that in his playing style, and he does remind me in little bits and pieces of those kind of players. Again, I am not comparing him to that. I just think he's at his best when he's driving forward, using his gangly legs to take lengthy touches and dropping his shoulder and maneuvering past opposition players, people. He's got an ability to glide, very graciously, apologies, past opponents in a similar vein to the names I've said. He has the height, he's got the upper body strength to protect the ball and make sure he doesn't lose it. He can drive forward when the game demands of that, people. Without the ball, I do think he can improve, but he is particularly strong when competing in the air due to his height, even though that can improve. And obviously the second phases of play, or the second balls on the ground, people. He shows a willingness to have to work hard for his team, and that's that humility that you need to look for in potential players. His height obviously once again enables him to compete in aerial duels and get his body in between the ball and an opponent when needs to be, even if it looks like the opponent is going to get the better of him, people. So he's quite good on the recovery. I think he's really aggressive when competing for the ball on the transition, and I do think he's very good when pressing, which obviously for Arsenal Football Club, we're a high pressing side. We look to win the ball back very quickly in the opposition's half, in which I think I've seen elementary sort of foundations in him to show that that won't be a problem, people. As I said, he can play as a 6 and he can play as an 8. When playing as an 8, he offers energy and drive on that left-hand channel. And at 23 years of age, once again, he would tie into what we're doing. I'm not really all the way convinced on him in the deeper role, but he can do it, people. He can play in a double pivot, and he will allow his fullbacks, whether that's Timber, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, probably not Kirill, or a new signing, to drive further forward, people. And he allows his left winger to be more aggressive, which again, if we sort out that left channel, you might see a better Gabby Martinelli, if I'm honest with you. And again, he when playing deeper, he does still want to run forward off the ball, and he can make great runs off the ball going unmarked. I do think he's better when he's more like a box to box midfielder. He'll initially start probably deeper, get the ball off the centre halves and look to thread it through to his other teammates and kind of connect the dots in that regard before later on looking to join the attack, people. He's also able to play shorter passes and keep the ball, which is something Mikel Arteta likes. I think he's got a good long range passing, but statistically that is again something that can improve. So again, him playing and being competent at playing short passes in short enables Arsenal to maintain our rhythm and possession of the football, and also allows other players to stay in more dangerous positions, people. By the man's own admission, he has said despite the trials and tribulations this season, he has become a more complete player, and I do think he has done that. In my opinion, he's become less. He relies less on instinct, and he's become a lot more calculated in that regard. When I think of Thuram, I think of dribbles, I think of technical quality, I think of cute little bits of trickery, not quite Brazilian, but little bits of trickery to evade oppositions. He's very good at manipulating the ball, but I think he's taken that sort of element to a degree out of his game and is more calculated. He knows when to do that and when not to. If there was any improvements, I would say I think he could show even more personality on the pitch. I think he could insert his dominance on the football pitch a lot more, with his dribbles, with his passing range. Sometimes I do think in that regards, he's a bit too humble. The game is allowed to go past him. Obviously, a concern would be while he's got near enough a faultless injury record, he has been plagued at points this season with thigh and knee issues, people. And I do think while he's competent at winning balls in the air and in duels, I think he could be more assertive and aggressive in that regards, people. But nonetheless, there's a reason he's been linked with Juventus, AC and Inter Milan and Liverpool, as well as Barcelona, to name a few, as stated earlier. I think he's a good player. He could be available at a price which does not break the bank. Rumours of 15 million euros, which was that about 13 to 14 million quid. That could obviously allow us to put added funds into other areas. We all know a striker isn't going to be cheap, whether it's Benjamin Sesko for 55 odd million or some of the other players that have been linked with our football club. Nonetheless, I think he's a decent option. I think he'd be a competent long-term addition to Arsenal's squad, and I think we could do a lot worse than signing him. Admittedly, he would not be my first choice. I'd rather go to Monaco and get Fofana and some of the other names Arsenal have been linked with, but we could do a lot wrong, then signing Thuram. On that note, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And on that note, people, I'm off to edit some more videos for you lot. Take care, stay blessed, peace.